A history lesson of how video auctions started and lots of feeder cattle are selling next week. Crew, let's ranch it up. Good day, everyone, and thanks for riding with us on this all-new episode of the Ranch It Up Radio Show. I'm Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Next week is the Week in the Rockies sale from Superior Livestock Auction. We'll get to those details here in just a little bit, but think about this for a sec. Do you remember the first time that you tuned in and you watched? The first video sale started back in 1982, and the first Superior Livestock video sale was back in 1987 at the National Western Stock Show in Denver. Ted Odle from Superior Livestock joins us today. Ted, welcome to the program. Let's start from the beginning. This is such a neat story. Start from the beginning with your dad, because that's how it all started.
Superior Livestock was my dad's brainstorm, and I've been with it ever since we started it. And in 1986, we met with this fellow named Buddy Jeffers, who owned Amarillo Video. We were the only two video companies at that time. So we teamed up with Buddy and formed Superior Livestock in late 1986. First auction would have been in 1987 at the stock show in Denver, the old bell ringer sale that they used to have, every year at the stock show with, the live cattle. That was the very first sale under the Superior Livestock name and logo was back then. And we never dreamt it would grow to where it's at. I mean, that was never a goal for this company to be selling almost 2 million head of cattle a year. But we had just a handful of reps and good reps, and everybody believed in it. And it's been a heck of a good company, heck of a ride over the years.
So what was the reception like back in 1987? I did the math quick in my head. Well, it took me a little bit there. 38 years ago, Ted.
Yeah,
what was the reception like at, let's go all the way back to the first one, 1987, at the stock show, the bell ringer sale. What was the reception like of selling cattle via video, via satellite?
The reception was actually better then than when we originally started. I mean, you can imagine when we first started this thing, and my dad and Dave Whalert, who Dave has passed, but my dad and Dave Whalert, they're the ones that started this thing. It was kind of their idea. We owned the sale barn forever at Brush, Colorado. In fact, there was 2 barns in Brush, and my dad's barn burnt down in the early 60s. And so we built a brand new one. And he always had this idea of, we got a lot of cattle off the west slope of Colorado at the time, out of Kremling and Walden and that part of the world. And so the ranchers would bring all their cattle to us, and Dave Whalert who knew a lot of the ranchers over there, and he was working with my dad and getting cattle over. And my dad says, just hit me one day. He said, we got these ranchers from Walden and Kremling, bring all their cattle to us. Their neighbors show up and buy their heifer calves or something to breed, and then haul them all the way back. He said, there's just got to be a better way to do this that's easier on the cattle and on the ranchers. And so they come up with this idea. So you can imagine going to a rancher back in the early 80s and saying, hey, we're going to bring our video camera out here and videotape these things, and we're all going to go sit down in a nice motel ballroom and have steaks and some beverages, and we're going to sell cattle with videotape. There was a lot of people said, oh boys, that'll never work. But it was our customers in Kremling and Walden in North Park, Colorado, that actually helped us. They were the ones that went with us originally, the Hills and all of those people. They said, yeah, let's give it a whirl. And it just grew from there. Believe me, it didn't happen overnight, but it was quite a sale. Luckily, we had some good old ranchers that went with us, and they've stuck with it. We still sell cattle for a lot of those people today, 40 years down the road. If I remember right, we were still selling calves in the 60, 70 cent range.
Right.
Back then, and we put on a rep, and he worked the Utah, Wyoming area. One of the first reps we ever put on. He's no longer with us, been gone some time, but I can still remember Jerry. He had a couple of lots on, and Jerry was a salesman. I mean, Jerry could sell John Deere parts to an international dealer. I mean, he was good. But he got a couple of lots on. He came to, I think it was back then, the only sale we had was Labor Day. And when we formed Superior, we decided, well, we needed Labor Day. And of course, we talked about the stock show special. And so we were adding a couple, 3 sales a year. So Jerry came to the first Labor Day sale, sold his cattle. And I'll never forget, he had a little handheld recorder, and he was recording the sale. And he took that recorder back, and he got on 3 radio stations out around Evanston, Wyoming, and Randolph, Utah, and out in there. And all they did was played the auctioneer selling cattle. And it was a couple of his lots, so everybody recognized the name, for some of their neighbors, and Jerry's phone number. And he had like 5,000 head on the next sale. People are going, whoa, what's this about? So back in those days, their closest market from Evanston, Wyoming was Torrington. And they were having to haul those cattle a long way. The buyers that were in the country were literally offering them 20 cents less in the country than what we were getting. He proved to them, this is what we can get you for your cattle. And they ship right from your back door.
It takes quite a bit to put this together. Let me back up and just say this. Yeah. It takes people that are committed to allowing, and we're still back in 1987 now, and the concept, it takes customers willing to commit their product to being sold this way, but it also takes buyers. So how did you go about getting buyers to buy into this concept? No pun intended.
Between my dad and Dave Whalert, they had a really good rapport with a lot of buyers, mainly along the Front Range of Colorado. Frank Booth was a big proponent of Frank's. He's one of the old guys that's gone now, but there was Frank Booth, Bill Howard, and a lot of the old guys that I can remember that, they're all gone these days, but we presented the deal to them. And of course, their theory was, well, we'll give it a try. And, if we like it, we'll do it again. If we don't like it, we won't do it again. It's that simple. So, making sure the cattle were right, they fit the contract. We shipped them what we told them we'd ship them. That became a big part of Superior and still is to this day. I mean, I had a young rep the other day ask me, he said, what do you think's the number one thing a rep can do for Superior today to make himself better and be successful as a rep? And I thought about it. I said, you know what it is? Ship your cattle according to the contract. Deliver what you said you're going to deliver as far as weight, kind, breed type, the whole deal. You do that, and the rest of it takes care of itself. So it's a lot of the core fundamentals that we started clear back then are still in place today.
Ted Odle with Superior Livestock. Hey, Ted, just hold on here a tick. I want to key in on the sale next week, and we'll talk about that next after the break. And remember, if you have not committed your calves or consigned your calves yet, deadlines for the Video Royale, the end of July, the Bighorn Classic, and the Labor Day sale are fast approaching. We have all of those dates laid out for you on ranchchannel.com. Really easy to follow along to find out exactly when those deadlines are. Crew, you're listening to the Ranch It Up Radio Show, and we will be right back. Keep it parked.
Are you looking for true price discovery for your feeder cattle? Look no further than Superior Livestock Auction. The Week in the Rockies Sale is coming up July 7th through the 11th, followed by the Video Royale July 28th through August 1st. Deadlines are coming up fast. For the Video Royale sale, cattle need to be cataloged by July 11th, and videos need to be submitted by July 18th. Again, July 11th for the catalog and July 18th for the videos to consign to the Video Royale. Any questions, reach out to your Superior Livestock Auction rep or call Superior Livestock Customer Service at 800-422-2117. View the sale live on Dish Network Channel 997, the Superior Livestock Auction YouTube channel page, and SuperiorLivestock.com. Selling cattle the Superior way.
We run a lot of high milk-producing mama cows in our herd.
Mitch Kenobi of Norfolk dealt with scours in his herd.
So bad that we sent samples off to South Dakota State and Kansas State. Heard about Pharmatan. As a producer, I know it's our job to limit our inputs, but when it comes to Pharmatan, Dad and I don't blink an eye. It is a must for every calving season.
Adding Pharmatan to your livestock's nutrition this fall will rid your new herd of scours in the spring. Go to PharmatanUSA.com. Call Joe Knopp at 340-3323.
Gelbvieh and Balancer producers, seed stock and commercial, add genetic technology from the American Gelbvieh Association. They provide genetic tools to both seed stock and commercial producers. From being a part of the world's largest genetic evaluation and providing some of the most accurate EPDs in the industry to offering a wide variety of DNA tests, the AGA delivers its members and customers tools for success within the beef industry. Head to gelbvieh.org for more information from the American Gelbvieh Association.
Cattle Battle.
Welcome back to the Ranch It Up Radio Show, the most information packed into a 30-minute program that you can find. It's your All Things Ranching newscast, and so glad to be hanging out with each and every one of you. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, rants, it doesn't matter. You can call or text. That phone number is 707 Ranch 20. That's 707-726-2420. Our email, ranchitupshow@gmail.com, and prowling around social media at Ranch It Up Show. I hope y'all enjoy that little walk back in time of how Superior Livestock got its start. Thank you, Ted. Now let's move into the present. The Big 5 sales. Hold on, I actually need to mention that there are a number of video sales throughout the year as options. So let's just key in on the Week in the Rockies. That's a big in, and it's in Steamboat. That is all week long, July 7th through the 11th, Monday through Friday. And you said what? 300,000 plus is what's cataloged, right?
Yeah, 313,000.
313,000. So I do this all the time. You know this, Ted. I'm gonna say, get your crystal ball out here, right? Tell us, from a typical producer. Well, Ted, what do you think I'm gonna get for those 6.5 weight steers? So let's just talk a little bit about the Week in the Rockies sale of cattle that are coming in. And I'm sure that the optimism is probably the highest you've ever seen. Am I remiss in saying that?
No, you're exactly right. I'll tell you what I told all of my customers up here when we were getting ready for Sioux City. You're right. They all have that same question. What are they going to bring? What are they going to bring? And my answer to them was, I literally don't have any idea what they're going to bring. But guess what? It's going to be more than you ever got in your life for cattle.
Right.
I mean, we're at record levels, whatever it is. And, I had 2 or 3 of my customers said, you're busy. Don't even call me. Just call me after the sale and tell me what they brought. So it's an interesting deal. It's the market in general is in great shape. I mean, we got a lot of good things happening within our industry. I'm a big fan of all these new smaller packing houses that are popping up all over the country, and some of them aren't so small. I mean, there's some of these places they're gonna process some numbers, and it's just giving us a lot more diversity, on the packer side of things, which in the end is good. Competition's good on all levels. But I look for this market to probably stay pretty steady with what we did in Sioux City. We could be up or down a little bit. I don't. Just me personally, I don't see a lot more up in this market, but I've been saying that for a while. It just continues to go up. At some point, you'd think we'd hit a top, but I don't see a big downswing either. But that's everybody's concern in the industry today is what could take it down. That you're not going to see it coming. We've seen it happen before. Go back to 2014. These buyers, a feeder can literally, lock in pretty darn close to a break even with as high as our feeder board is and our fat board. They've got a lot more opportunity to protect themselves today than they did in 2014 by a long ways. That was the big problem. There's so many people out there unprotected, and in this business, you better figure that out, how to do it. And of course, my opinion is Superior Livestock for a rancher or a stalker guy. It's the best way in the world to lock in your bottom line, because you're actually selling cattle. They're actually going to go down the road, and you're going to get a check for the full amount. And there's no other way to do it. I don't care if you're buying, LRPs, or if you're, hedging them with the puts and calls, or playing straight up on the board. There's cost to all of that, and margins, and how all that works. But Superior Livestock is the only true hedge in the business, and people are taking advantage of that, on both ends. And it's good for the buyers because the buyers can tie up a lot of inventory that that fits their out game down the road in next year or whenever they're fat or whatever their program is. They can plan for their program too, and it's good for all sides.
Ted, why use Superior Livestock to market our calves, especially if I'm sitting on my hands on what to do or who to market with?
There again, you're able to take advantage of a really good market right now, and the calves don't go anywhere till you're ready to ship them when you normally ship them. And we all know what happens in the fall. Typically that market will take a little dip in the fall, and a lot of times it's because of logistics. Everybody's getting cattle. Everybody in the West wants to ship a calf from the 10th of October to the 30th of October.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And everybody gets balled up, and back to what a little bit we talked about earlier, these buyers, they're buying these cattle on an out program, and they've got their deal set, and they need cattle for, June, July, August, fats or whatever it is their program they're going to. And in today's world, the way technology is advanced, there's a lot of these feeders that have pretty well bought everything they need. By the time we get to Labor Day, there's a lot of feeders that have bought everything they're going to buy. And the big thing is health. I can't stress health too much from a buyer standpoint, especially in today's world with these calves costing on top of $2,000. The worst thing can happen is to lose one, to have one die. So this health thing is become a huge issue. And everybody knows if you can get them fresh off the ranch direct, the health issues they go to a very small fraction of a lot of other ways to put together some numbers of cattle. So if you're on the fence, the only thing I can tell you is just pick a sale you want to put them on. This market is better than it's ever been in history. And to me, there's a lot more things that could turn it to the downside rather than up. And chasing the top of the market normally doesn't work out real well.
Ted Odle, hey, thanks for taking a bit more time to visit with us. Now, you can view the Week in the Rockies sale live starting on Monday on Dish Network Channel 997 or head to sla-tv.com. The Week in the Rockies, July 7th through the 11th. When we come back on the Ranch It Up radio show, we talk numbers and markets. Go nowhere and keep it parked. Looking for the best way to raise beef, whether on pasture, crop residue, or in a dry lot, choose Westway Feed Products. Westway Feed Products boost forage utilization, efficiency, and sustainability. Find your nearest rep by calling 800-800-7517 or visit westwayfeed.com. Stay connected with the crew from Westway Feed Products on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Call 800-800-7517 or go to westwayfeed.com today. Attention cattle producers. Boost your herd's trace mineral status with Axiota Animal Health's Multi-Min 9D. This injectable solution delivers essential trace minerals known to support cattle health and reproduction. Don't settle for less when it comes to your herd health. Trust Axiota Animal Health to keep your cattle in prime condition. Visit your local supplier or veterinarian to learn more about Multi-Min 90. Multi-Min 90, because healthy cattle mean a healthy bottom line.
LivestockMarket.com. We hear from the crew at LivestockMarket.com every week. Bulls, cows, bred heifers, open replacement heifers, cow-calf pairs, feeders, and stockers, horses, pigs, goats, sheep, show stock, hay and straw, and even alpacas, all listed on LivestockMarket.com. Private treaty, online auctions, and on-site auctions. Buying or selling, gauge the market, do some research. Check out LivestockMarket.com.
And don't forget, they brought you AuctionTime.com and EquineMarket.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Ranch It Up radio show. That time in the program, we check in with Kirk Donsbach, StoneX Financial Incorporated. We recap the markets from last week. How are we doing, Pard?
I'm doing wonderful, Tigger. Doing wonderful.
What do we got for numbers for this week?
All right, we'll move right into it, Tigger. As of Friday, June 27th, August feeder futures closed at 308.05. That's up 567.5 on the week. with the CME feeder index up 98 cents at 311.97. That left the basis a positive $3.92 versus August futures. August live cattle closed the week at 213.60. That's up 387.5 on the week, with cash trading 224 to 225 early in the South, and then late Friday some 226 sales. The North traded 230 to 232 early, and then late sales at 233. That left the 5-area weighted average down $8.29 at 227.91. I think the big push on cash prices is the Tyson plant moving into a strike with their laborers. June futures are expiring, and August holds a positive $14.31 basis. That's a very wide basis, even with that much time. Choice boxes closed the week at $396.19. That's up another $5.69. Weekly slaughter came in at 560,000 head. That's even with last week, and 50,000 head less than the same week last year. Dress weights were also steady at 865 pounds, which is 24 pounds more than this week last year. The combination of lower slaughter numbers and higher weight has left the yearly slaughter at 3.2% less than this time last year. To wrap this up, September corn closed at $4.11 That's down 15 cents on the week. Corn did have some pretty severe technical damage this week, leading into the USDA report that's coming out. That report typically drives the market for the next 2 months.
Now, this is perfect timing, Kirk, because this episode, we've done a lot of coverage and promotion of the Week in the Rockies sale that is coming up next week. So you've got 2 different lots that are consigned, lots 6740A and 6740B. I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell everybody a little bit about your calves that you're selling.
All right, we're changing it up a little bit here, Tigger. I'm real excited for the sale.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the sale. It's one of those deals, really excited. I'm pretty bullish to the market, but also very nervous at these high prices, and the day can't come soon enough. The calves that we'll be selling are semi-Angus cross cattle. We're using a new technology that Ally provides called Right Bull, and it helps you genetically pick the bull that's going to drive 3 of the parameters that you choose. This is my terminal herd, so I chose growth and marbling and the terminal traits to try to drive them. I'm real excited to see how that works. Should be a good day. I'm very excited and also nervous and can't wait to get it over.
Right, that's how it works. So have you ever, have you sold on Superior before?
Yeah, I think this is, 6th or 7th year maybe I've done it.
Okay, so obviously you've had great results with them. And so everybody knows, I will actually have the links to those exact calves in the show notes for this episode. So you can go to ranchitupshow.com, click on this episode, and just scroll down a little bit, and I will make sure that I have the links that you'll be able to see the videos of those calves and all the management and details on them. So good luck, Kirk. I am wishing you the best.
Well, thank you so much, Tigger, and I appreciate the promotion.
Are you looking for ways to put more money in your ranch's bank account? Maybe that means hosting weddings or other Airbnb guests. Well, or maybe not. Hey, I'm Shay Wanner, and I host the Casual Cattle Conversations podcast. I visited with Jason Rick to learn how he and his wife have navigated hosting various events and guests on their ranch, and how to know if it's the right option for you. Here's a little bit of what we talk about.
But we had an open house, I guess it's been about 3 weeks ago, and we had a tremendous turnout. We had over 100 people. Some of them drove, 100 plus miles to come and see our venue, see what we were doing. And many of those were other farmers and ranchers who were looking to do the same thing, and they just were trying to figure out how to do it themselves. So we got to have those conversations to help other producers as well.
Listen to the full story by searching for Casual Cattle Conversations on your favorite podcast player. Happy ranching, folks.
And crew, make sure you head to ranchchannel.com, save it on your phone, add it to your favorites. We have the results of the Corn Belt Classic from Superior Livestock Auction listed along with all of the dates of the upcoming sales and their deadlines. Contact information is listed, everything that you need at ranchchannel.com. Also, top dollar Angus verified feeder cattle that are selling on the Week in the Rockies sale are listed on Ranch Channel. In fact, over 2,100 head are listed on ranchchannel.com. Management, vaccinations, delivery information, genetics, everything. Looking to capture some of those top dollar cattle? Just head to ranchchannel.com. Now, next week, the Week in the Rockies by Superior Livestock. July 14th through the 16th, the Silver Legacy Sale by Western Video Auction. And the following week, July 21st through the 23rd, the Summertime Classic from Northern Livestock Video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Beck and I and our team at any time. And now that is going to wrap it up for today. A big thanks to our crew, Ted Odle for the history lesson about Superior Livestock and an update on next week's sale, the Week in the Rockies by Superior Livestock. Kirk Donsbach with StoneX Financial Incorporated. Check out his listings in next week's sale. We've got those links available in the show notes at ranchitupshow.com. Shay Wanner with Casual Cattle Conversations and the boss lady, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck, who has not been on the show lately. She's been busy. A big thank you goes out to our partners, ranchchannel.com, Superior Livestock Productions and Superior Livestock Auctions, Wolf Cattle, Jorgensen Land and Cattle, Transova Genetics, Axiota Animal Health, bringing us Multimin and Lactapro, the American Gelbvieh Association, Imogene Ingredients, bringing us Pharmatan, Westway Feed Products, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Allied Genetic Resources and Allied Feeding Partners, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, the Tri-State Livestock News, RFD TV, Wrangler, and this fine radio station. Now, crew, so glad y'all came with us one more time as we ranch it up. Be sure to follow and like us on Facebook at Ranch It Up Show. Our email, ranchitupshow@gmail.com. You can call and you can text us 24/7. That phone number is 707-RANCH-20, 707-726-2420. Spread the good word and join us again next week where it's always Tigger and Beck approved. Have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. Stay ranchy and ranch it up.